Hello there, you're watching the news at 6 on Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Now, India today signed 4 agreements with Kyrgyzstan as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is concluding his visit to that country today. Also, we'll be getting you all the updates from Wimbledon. But first up, the top stories we are following in headlines. India signs 4 agreements as Prime Minister Narendra Modi concludes a visit to Kyrgyzstan, underscores the need to combat terrorism. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley sees hope in prospects of good rains and rising revenue collections, says 8 to 10% economic growth eminently possible. Rains disrupt life across North India. Amarnath Yatra and Kedarnath Yatra halted due to bad roads. European Union leaders summit put off by a few hours after Greece fails to put convincing bailout proposals on the table. And Sania Mirza clinches Wimbledon trophy with Martina Hingis, becomes India's first woman to win women's doubles Grand Slam title. Leander Pace to partner Hingis for mixed doubles title later today. Well, today's biggest story, India and Kyrgyzstan have signed 4 agreements today, including one on bolstering defense cooperation and holding annual joint military exercises. Now, visiting the Central Asian nation, Prime Minister Modi emphasized the need to combat terrorism during his talks with Kyrgyzstan President today. Here are the details.
On the second leg of his Central Asian tour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Kyrgyzstan. He was accorded a ceremonial welcome on his arrival in Bishkek. During his one-day visit, Modi held delegation-level talks with the Kyrgyz leadership.
My visit to all 5 countries in the region demonstrates the importance that we attach to a new level of relationship with Central Asia. We spoke at length about strengthening our relations in trade, investment, tourism, culture and human resource development.
The two sides signed 4 agreements in key sectors, including on cooperation in defense and culture. 2 MOUs were also signed for cooperation between the election commissions of the 2 countries and on cooperation in the spheres of standards, a move that will help economic relations. Modi emphasized the need to strengthen the defense ties and cooperation in combating terrorism during a joint press conference.
We have shared interests in combating extremism and terrorism that has become a threat without borders. Our defense ties are strong. We have just completed a joint exercise, Khanjar 2015. We have decided to hold joint military exercise on an annual basis.
The defense agreement signed is aimed at deepening bilateral cooperation in defense, security, military education and training. Modi also sought increased connectivity between India and the Central Asian nations in future.
Connectivity initiatives between India and Central Asia will boost our economic ties. I look forward to the launch of the telemedicine link with India. It is the first in the region, and it tells us about the possibilities of the digital world.
Modi's last leg of the 8-day Central Asia tour will end with a visit to Tajikistan. The PM is likely to seek Tajikistan's cooperation against terrorism after External Affairs Minister raised the issue with the Tajik President during the SCO summit in September last year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in other news, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is confident that India's aspiration to cross the 8% growth trajectory is now more achievable. Now pinning hopes on rain gods to be kinder this year, he said that a better monsoon would help check food inflation, including in pulses. He also said that rising tax revenues and improving macroeconomic fundamentals would take the economy to an accelerated growth trajectory.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said that India is on a road to achieve up to 10% economic growth. He listed the government's economic reforms, policy changes, and investment in key sectors like infrastructure as key factors in achieving the target sooner than later.
The reform process ongoing with some more significant changes like GST in the pipeline, increased infrastructural spending this year, emphasis on smart cities. When all these initiatives get down to the field, then India's aspiration to cross that 8% hub and get on to the 8 to 10% growth targets may be something which is not completely out of sight, something which may be eminently achievable.
Speaking at the 34th day of NABARD, Jaitley said growth in the indirect tax revenues by 14% in the first quarter of current fiscal year has given option to the government to spend more in infrastructure projects.
When the indirect revenue collection figures came out for the first quarter as a whole, they did indicate that customs duty, excise duty, service tax, even without additional revenue measures, were up 14.5% to last year. If you take the additional revenue measures, they were up 37%.
He said that the Department of Agriculture expects better rainfall in most parts of the country to result in higher production of oilseeds and pulses, which at the moment are a cause of concern in terms of inflation. He also promised massive investment in agriculture to mitigate rural distress and indebtedness of the farmers.
We are fairly clear about the fact that a large part of this additional investment will have to go into agriculture and to mitigating this rural distress and indebtedness of the farmer.
However, all eyes will be on the forthcoming monsoon season, when the government is expected to table some of its key reform bills on land acquisition and new taxation policy. While reports by parliamentary panels are weighted on the bills, the opposition seems united to thwart any attempt by the Modi government to see the land bill through in this session. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And heavy rains lashed North India, disrupting normal life in many states. Now, continuous rains caused waterlogging in many areas in Delhi, while non-stop rains were also reported in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh as well. The annual Hindu pilgrimage Amarnath Yatra in Jammu and Kashmir was stopped due to bad weather conditions.
Heavy rains and waterlogging in Delhi for the fourth day in a row caused traffic snarls across the city. Although Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal claimed that waterlogging was comparatively less this year.
बहुत टाइम से पानी आ रहा है, बारिश हो रही, जाना तो दिक्कत हो रही, प्रॉब्लम कोई निकालने का काम भी नहीं हो रहा है, गाड़ी भी बंद हो जा रही है.
In Jammu and Kashmir, the annual Amarnath Yatra was halted due to inclement weather. Police officials said that heavy rainfall triggered landslides blocking the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway in Udhampur district. In Uttarakhand, many districts like Chamoli, Nainital, Pauri, Uttarkashi, Rudraprayag and Pithoragarh received heavy rains for the 2 days in a row. At least 2 people were killed in landslides triggered by rains. An alert was issued for Uttarakhand, where heavy rains are predicted for the next 2 days.
सर यही बंद हो जाता है, खुल जाता है, हम खोल देते हैं, इधर रेडी है, मशीन के साथ है. और क्यों हो रहा बंद? बंद सर मतलब बारिश में जैसे पूरा पत्थर है, सीपेज हो जाते हैं. अच्छा, हाँ. तो कितनी बार बंद हो गया ये सुबह से ये मानो 3 या 4 बार हो गया, 4 बार बंद हो गया.
Meanwhile, heavy downpour in the past 1 week damaged roadways and uprooted trees in Shimla in Himachal Pradesh. Continuous rainfall caused a flood-like situation in Uttar Pradesh, with several deaths being reported in the state and neighbouring Bihar.
यहाँ पे एक मकान की छत गिर गई थी, वो काफ़ी पुराना मकान था, लगातार हो रही बारिश के कारण वो छत नीचे गिर गई थी, उसमें तीन बच्चियों की मृत्यु हो गई है.
The Met Department has forecast more rains in the next 24 hours.
मानसून का डिप्रेशन जिसकी वजह से ये सारा मौसम इतना हो रहा है, वो इस समय उत्तर पश्चिम भारत में मेरठ और दिल्ली के आसपास है. दिल्ली से लगभग 70 किलोमीटर पूर्व में है ये सिस्टम. तो इस वजह से अगले 24 घंटों के लिए उत्तराखंड, जम्मू कश्मीर, वेस्ट यूपी और हरियाणा, दिल्ली, एनसीआर, ये हिमाचल प्रदेश, ये 3-4 राज्य हैं जहां हमने भारी से बहुत भारी बारिश की चेतावनी जारी की है.
Worries of monsoon deficit have receded somewhat after the latest spell of rains. The weatherman has predicted a cloudy Monday, but rainfall activity is expected to decline. However, it's expected to gain strength again on Tuesday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now news from Bihar, where the former Chief Minister and Hindustani Awam Morcha Chief Jitan Ram Manjhi today demanded what he called a respectable number of seats in the upcoming assembly polls from the BJP-led coalition. Manjhi says that his party will be compelled to explore other options if the NDA fail to come up to his expectations. He said he would even consider an alliance with the Jan Adhikar Party leader Pappu Yadav. Meanwhile, underscoring the good showing of NDA in the local council elections, senior JDU leader K.C. Tyagi has said that the JDU RJD alliance will need to work hard and also closely with each other.
दो चार दिन के अंतर्गत हम लोग सीटों पर बात करेंगे और पप्पू जी को भी एनडीए गठबंधन के साथ आने की चर्चाएं आप लोग सुना होगा। हम और पप्पू जी साथ में आ जाते हैं तो इससे राज्य में नीतीश कुमार और लालू जी के गठबंधन को तोड़ने में यानी असफल करने में बड़ी सुविधा होगी।
सत्ता में भोग करने के लिए नहीं, हमारे सामने सांप्रदायिकता निशाना है। सांप्रदायिकता को रोकने के लिए लालू यादव ने हर तरह का हमने कहा कि कोई भी कुर्बानी हम लोग करेंगे, त्याग करेंगे, हम उनको आने देंगे।
And more updates from across the country in Nationwide. Security forces today foiled a major infiltration bid along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. They killed 3 militants in Keren sector of Kupwara district. The security forces were engaged in a gun battle with the suspected militants for at least a couple of hours near the line of control. Apart from the bodies, several arms and ammunition were also recovered from the spot. A key witness in the rape case against Asaram Bapu has died. He was shot at by unidentified assailants in Shahjahanpur district earlier. He was the third witness in the case who has been killed. In all, around 9 witnesses in the case have been attacked so far. Protests continue in Manipur over demands to implement inner line permit system. Despite curfew in Greater Imphal area, the agitators joined rallies organized by the Joint Committee on Inner Line Permit System. The police resorted to fire tear gas shells to disperse the unruly agitators. All right, we'll take a very short break, but up next we'll get to all the international news, including in a major success against the Islamic State, US drone kills key leader Hafiz Saeed Khan in Afghanistan. Details to follow. Stay with us.
Hello, I am Ishan Russell.
I'm Tracy Shilchi and you're watching News Tonight.
Together with the team of our
dedicated professionals from across various fields.
This is Shyam Sundar,
Vishal Dahiya,
Akhilesh Suman,
Frank Pereira from Beijing, China.
Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
We bring to you
the news that matters here on Rajya Sabha TV.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. Now, lawyer of LET commander Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, the main accused in the Mumbai 26/11 attack case, told a leading news daily that his client will not provide voice samples. According to media reports, under Pakistani law, the accused must consent to give their voice sample. The development comes after India agreed to provide voice transcripts as evidence in the 26/11 case. Now, this comes 2 days after Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's decision to discuss ways and means to expedite the Mumbai case trial in Pakistan, including additional information like providing voice samples. Now, Lakhvi has been released on bail since 10th of April after he spent almost 6 years in jail in connection with the case. Now, a planned European Union member summit was postponed on Sunday morning after leaders encountered difficulties in striking a fresh bailout deal for Greece. Now, the creditors sought further commitments that Greece will deliver on its promises in return for a third bailout funds.
Skeptical Eurozone ministers adjourned the European Union summit after 9 hours of intense negotiations failed to produce any concrete decision on the Greek bailout plan. The scheduled Sunday morning talks were pushed back till 1400 hours GMT. They will continue till a decision is made.
Zeker een moeilijke vergadering. We gaan morgenochtend om 11 uur verder. We hebben uitgebreid gesproken over de Griekse voorstellen, de commentaren van de instituties daarop, de commentaren van veel lidstaten daarop. Natuurlijk ook de financiële problemen die eruit voortvloeien. En we moeten vaststellen dat we de discussie moeten voortzetten. We zijn er nog niet uit.
European Union officials want Greece to go beyond the painful austerity measures accepted by Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras. The ministers are seeking further promises on product market liberalization, labor laws, privatization, state reform and more defense cuts, plus a promise to pass key laws next week. The Greek finance minister is trying hard to convince counterparts that his government can be trusted to push through the economic reform plan, but the biggest creditor, Germany, is not impressed. Few believe a mandate can be reached today, although expectations have been raised that the Eurogroup would give the green light to the new loan proposals by Athens.
Problem ist zunächst einmal, dass eine Situation, die gegen alle Skepsis in den zurückliegenden Jahren, ja bis Ende vergangenen Jahres sehr hoffnungsstimmend war, durch die letzten Monate in einer unfasslichen Weise zerstört worden ist, bis in die letzten Tage und Stunden hinein.
I believe possible an agreement about Greece. We work for this agreement. We hope this agreement will be closed until Sunday. The real question now is what type of Europe you can build.
Hopefully, and I really mean this, hopefully, that at the Eurogroup meeting of ministers tomorrow, that it can be signed off, and if not, that the leaders of the Union can deal with it on Sunday. We'd like to think that while the time ahead will be difficult for Greece and for its citizens, that it will have the support of European colleagues in getting back to a position of confidence, of stability.
Early on Saturday, Tsipras won parliamentary backing for the tough reform package that more or less mirror measures previously demanded by creditors. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will join the Iran nuclear talks that are going in Vienna after a hectic day of closed-door meetings that lasted for several hours on Saturday. The P5+1 group, which includes the US, France, Germany, Britain, Russia and China, has extended talks multiple times in an attempt to break a deadlock on what would be a historic deal. It aims to end sanctions on Tehran in exchange for a series of checks and balances on its nuclear program. The 6 world powers have extended the deadline till Monday to reach a deal, their third extension in 2 weeks. While US Secretary of State John Kerry admitted that some of the sticking points still remain, Iran has accused the world and the West of throwing up a new stumbling block to an accord.
با 6 قدرت جهانی صحبت کردیم و حرف زدیم که اگر مذاکره موفق نباشه دنیا به خوبی بدانه ایران اهل منطق بوده میز مذاکره را ترک نکرده.
Well, after making landfall in China, Typhoon Chanhaom is now heading towards South Korea. Over 1 million people were evacuated from coastal China as Typhoon hit Zhejiang province on Saturday. Air, rail and sea transport were resumed after the Weather Department said that the typhoon had eased.
Typhoon Chanhaom eased in China after bringing heavy rains, strong winds and forcing evacuation of hundreds of thousands of people on Saturday. The meteorological department said the typhoon is now heading towards Korea. Over 1 million people were evacuated from Xinjiang and Jinzhuang province as a precaution. Shaoxing city was flooded as rivers breached normal levels. The powerful typhoon also knocked out power and trapped nearly 20 families. No casualties were reported. Rescue teams were delivering food and water to trapped families. Air, rail and sea transportation also resumed after facilities were shut down ahead of the approaching typhoon. The typhoon brushed Shanghai late Saturday as it changed direction into the Yellow Sea. This is the second storm to hit China after severe tropical storm Linfa made landfall in southern Guangdong province earlier this week. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And some more international news and updates in Global Buzz. The chief of the Islamic State in the Afpak region was killed in a US drone strike in East Afghanistan. It was a major blow to the militant group that saw another top leader killed in air raid 3 days ago. Hafiz Saeed Khan, a former Talibani commander who hailed from Pakistan's tribal region, was among the 30 Islamic State-linked cadres killed in Nangarhar district. Islamic State militants detonated a powerful car bomb outside the Italian consulate, killing a civilian and injuring 10 people. It was their first assault on a foreign mission in Egypt after Mohamed Morsi's oust in 2013. The blast caused heavy damage to the Italian consulate and its surrounding buildings. The powerful explosion even ruptured underground water pipes, flooding the entire area. Pope Francis appealed to the world leaders to seek a new economic model to help the poor and shun policies that he said sacrifice human lives at the altar of money and profit. It was the second time during his trip to South America that Pope Francis, who is the first pope from the region, used a major speech to champion the rights of the poor. In Bolivia last Thursday, he denounced a new colonialism by agencies that impose austerity programs. Well, another short break here. Up next, we'll get you all the sports news. India has set a target of 272 runs for Zimbabwe to win. That and much more after a short break.
This week we are in the hill state of Uttarakhand, tracking the leader who's on the driver's seat of the state. Who's your favorite film star?
Rajesh Khanna. I'm a big fan of Rekha.
You're a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian?
And I'm Altanian. Watch me on It's My Life on Rajya Sabha TV.
On to cricket now. Well, India has set a target of 272 runs for Zimbabwe in the second ODI in Hazare today. Indian opener Rahane and Vijay began cautiously after putting to bat first. The two put up an opening partnership of 112 runs before captain Rahane fell for 63 runs. Murali Vijay top scored with 72 runs. Now, man of the match in the previous ODI, Ambati Rayudu scored 41 runs. But the lower order failed to capitalize on the solid foundation to take the score near 300. India ended up scoring just 271 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. For Zimbabwe, Madzia took 4 wickets. Now, India are leading the ODI series 1-0. And from cricket to tennis, Sania Mirza became the first Indian woman to win a women's doubles title at the Grand Slam. While partnering Switzerland's Martina Hingis, Sania defeated the Russian pair of Makarova and Vesnina in 3 sets in women's doubles final at the Wimbledon. Another title beckons the Indians today as Hingis partners Leander Pace in the mixed doubles final. It was the top seed's first Grand Slam title, as the team having only decided to play together in March this year. And it was not an easy one either. Sania Mirza and Martina Hingis made a stunning comeback in the final set to win the women's doubles final. They came from a set down and 2-5 behind in the final set to beat Russian duo Ekaterina Makarova and Elena Vesnina.
To me, to come out here at Wimbledon, I mean, this is something that we dream of as kids. You know, I always say this, every kid that picks up a tennis racket talks about winning Wimbledon one day or playing at Wimbledon one day, and we feel, I mean, I think I'm speaking for both of us, we feel privileged to be here. It means everything to be here today, and, you know, and obviously I think to be the #1 team in the world is very special for both of us.
It feels definitely like, on the side of Sania, it feels like living it all over again. I'm happy to be out here and play at Wimbledon grounds, and I mean, it's above my expectations, but I have a great partner to pull me through, you know? It's just like, it takes guts and courage being 5-2 down in the third set. I mean, couldn't have asked even for more drama how to win it, you know?
This was Sania Mirza's maiden women's doubles title at a Grand Slam. She had earlier won 3 mixed doubles at the majors.
It's a fantastic victory for Sania Mirza, her family, and the entire Indian tennis circuit. We've seen wishes pouring in from everywhere, and everyone's very excited about her first doubles win. I think it was it's a great achievement for Indian tennis.
For Hingis, this was her first title at Wimbledon after 17 years. The last title she won was in the doubles, partnering Jana Novotná back in 1998. She will have another chance to add to her tally when she partners Leander Paes in the mixed doubles final. The duo will be looking for the second Grand Slam title this year when they take on Alexandra Pera and Taimia Babos in the final. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Success.
And more sporting action in Sports Beat. Roger Federer will look to become the first man to win 8 Wimbledon titles when he plays defending champion Novak Djokovic in today's final. Now, Federer currently shares the record of 7 wins with Pete Sampras. Djokovic had defeated Federer in the 2014 final for his second title. Now, both are logged at 6-all in Grand Slam wins. Real Madrid captain and goalkeeper Casillas will leave the Spanish La Liga top club after 2.5 decades for FC Porto. Now, Casillas became a hero for club and country in a glittering career when he won titles including 3 Champions League with Real and the World Cup and 2 European Championship trophies with Spain. Bayern Munich unveiled their new signings, 2 of them Douglas Costa and Joshua Kimmich on Saturday before they took part in an opening training session. The Bundesliga champions presented midfielders Costa and Kimmich as they strengthen their side for the forthcoming season. Now, Kimmich will hope to fill the void which was left by Bastian Schweinsteiger, who looks set to join Manchester United, while Costa will look to be among the goals next season. Well, that's all in this edition of News at 6. But before we go, well, in its latest mission to visit the distant world of Pluto, NASA recovered some tantalizing signs of geology on the planet. Now, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft sent black and white images of Pluto's surface, showing a complex terrain. The images could help scientists to determine what Pluto's atmosphere is made of and also what the surface actually looks like. Take a look as we take your leave.